A couple weeks ago, we put on an accessory, but at the expense of having to lose our grab handles. And my wife was a little bit disappointed that we didn't have those on anymore. It helps her to get up into the Bronco. So I just got a package from Amazon and looking forward to getting these on so we can get the grab handles back on. So let's get started. Hey everyone, I'm Nick, aka Dad, and if you're not a subscriber, smash that subscribe button, because Monk and I, we are constantly finding tips, tricks, and products that we use on our Bronco that you can use on yours. And today we are actually modifying an accessory we put on from Turn Off Road. They're overhead molly panels. Now it comes with all the hardware, but unfortunately when I took off our grab handles, the bolts weren't long enough to go through the grab handle and through the bracketry to actually retain our grab handles. Well, my wife was a little sad about that because she uses those grab handles quite a bit just to get up into the Bronco. So with our package from Amazon, we're going to take care of that today. So let me show you what I found out. Well, like I said, didn't have the bolts long enough to make this work. And what I found out using my digital caliper here, the biggest reason we couldn't get it on was just length of threads basically, and the factory one comes in at right around 35 millimeters. And that's with the washer that's already on there. Now the ones from Turn Off Road, the bolt that they give you, probably right about 40 millimeters it looks like. Which should be long enough, I mean a little bit longer than the factory ones, but not by a lot. I mean, well, theirs is probably closer to, from the bottom of the head, you're probably looking at about 36 millimeters. So a little bit odd for the OEM. So yeah, about 4 millimeters longer. But the thing about the OEM one is it's a flange headed bolt with a washer. Well, with Turn Off Road, they're doing the hex head bolt, but then they're putting the washer and then a lock washer is what I'm kind of assuming here, because once I took the lock washer off, I could fit the grab handles on. Well, I kind of want to retain those because I don't want them to get loose. I don't know if they would, but it would just give you that little peace of mind that that lock washer's on there, keeping them as tight as possible. So what we did was we went to Amazon, and here's what I got. We bought these. These are 45 millimeter M6s. Now these have more of like a button head with an Allen style head to them, and yeah, from the bottom of the head to the, all the threads basically comes in at 45 millimeters, which should give us plenty of thread to get through the grab handle, the washer, the lock washer, the bracketry into the overhead piece here, and you got to get through some plastic to get them started, and I think that's where we were falling short with the lock washer on there. It just wasn't able to be able to push in far enough to actually get some thread started to get it tightened down. So went with a 45 millimeter bolt, which we'll put a link down below. If you're wanting to do this accessory and keep your grab handles, it's a great way to do it and be able to retain all the hardware basically that you're using, the washer and lock washer. Now the handles that we use, which we've gone over before, we use the BarTac paracord handles. Now we're doing the black and gray. I'll put a link down below for these guys too. Super comfortable, nice and wide. I kind of really saw them with all the Jeep people out there. And once we lifted up the Bronco, my wife being 5'3.5", just makes it a little bit easier. Even with the steps, gives her another place to grab. Yes, you still have the one that's attached to the dash itself, but just an overhead one is just so much easier. So get these put back on so she can enjoy getting into the Bronco again. Now really the only tools I'll be needing is a ratchet and a 10 millimeter socket to get the Turn Off Road bolts out, and then to put in those bolts that I got from Amazon. It's basically an Allen 4 millimeter is all I'll be using just to get those zipped in there and still have the lock washer and washer on there. So let me get this done. We'll wrap this thing up. Now that I got the first bolt in, we're going to tighten up the rear bolt. Now the thing I like to do is I like to grab onto these handles as I'm tightening them down, because sometimes when you get them close to being tight, they'll start shifting on you, and then it's a little bit awkward when you're getting it and just Maybe it's a little bit of OCD for me, but I like to pull down these and just make sure they're in a good position for anybody getting in and out. And just like that, we've got a new grab handle for my wife. We'll put one both in the back for the kids and on the passenger side for if anybody else is getting in, if we ever take the car seats out. So let me get this wrapped up and we'll finish this thing up. Well, we've got grab handles now in both the front passenger and then the rear passenger as well. I don't typically like one on my side because it's right there in your field of vision, and I usually hit my head getting out of the vehicle on it. Not that big of a deal, but after a while I start kind of tucking it up on the roll bar. So didn't put one on my side, but I did put those button head bolts. Just makes it look a little bit nicer, a little shinier than what comes in the turn off road kit. But now that we have our overhead mounting panels, we are retaining the washer and lock washer with our new bolts, and we have our bar tack grab handles. So everybody is happy again and easy to get in and out of the Bronco. So if this is something you want to tackle yourself, we'll put a link down below to the bolts we use, which are a 45mm long bolt. We'll also put a link down below to bar tack. We'll see if they're on Amazon, just an easy way to put a link down below. If not, we'll put their website down below. And cool thing about bar tack is you can get the paracord in tons of different colors, something that maybe matches what color scheme you have for your Bronco. So as always, we appreciate you watching, and if you're not a subscriber, again, smash that subscribe button so you can get more tips, tricks, and products that Monk and I use on our Bronco that you can use on yours. As always, have a blessed day. Bye.